You've convinced yourself that things are fine, that staying quiet is keeping the peace, that smiling through discomfort makes you mature, in control, stable. But that peace you're holding on to, it's fake, and it's killing you slowly. It's not peace, it's suppression. It's you folding in on yourself just to keep everything around you from breaking. And the more you fake it, the more you lose pieces of who you really are. You call it peace, but it's really avoidance. Avoiding the hard conversations, avoiding the truth, avoiding the version of you that refuses to stay silent anymore. You say you're protecting your energy, but all you're doing is burying it, locking it behind habits, routines, and fake smiles. It's not that everything is calm, it's that you've gone numb. You've traded honesty for harmony. And in doing so, you've silenced the very part of you that was trying to wake you up. There's a moment that hits you. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet ache, a subtle sadness. You realize you've been performing peace, saying I'm fine when you're not, agreeing to things that kill your spirit, letting things slide just to avoid disruption. And it's exhausting, not because you're too emotional, but because you're too silent. You've been holding back so long, you forgot how it feels to speak up without guilt, to exist without filtering every word through fear. This isn't peace, it's slow self-erasure. You think you're keeping things together, but really, you're falling apart quietly. Because fake peace doesn't heal. It hides. You've built a life around not rocking the boat, not offending, not disappointing. And in the process, you've abandoned yourself. You shrink your voice. You filter your truth. You dim your light. All for the illusion of being easy to love. But real love, real freedom, never asks you to disappear. Fake peace is control. Real peace is expression. And the longer you settle for the first, the further you drift from who you really are. There comes a point when silence becomes unbearable. Not because someone hurt you again, but because you kept pretending they didn't. Because you kept pretending you were okay just to avoid conflict. But peace built on suppression isn't peace. It's pressure. And eventually it cracks. Your soul starts pushing back. In quiet moments. In sudden outbursts. In that deep, inexplicable restlessness. And that's when you know this version of peace you're clinging to is the very thing keeping you stuck. Real peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the presence of truth. It's not about avoiding tension. It's about facing it with clarity and courage. It's saying what needs to be said, not to start a fight, but to stop faking your life. You don't find peace by keeping things nice. You find it by being honest, with others, with yourself, with the parts of you that are tired of pretending. Because fake peace demands your silence. Real peace requires your voice, and the more you speak, the freer you become. You've spent so long making others comfortable, you forgot what it feels like to be yourself. Not filtered, not edited, not reduced to what's acceptable, but real, unapologetic, alive. And when you finally choose that version of you, the one who speaks, the one who feels, the one who dares, everything shifts. You start to breathe deeper. You start to walk lighter. Because you're no longer carrying the weight of pretending. Fake peace takes energy to maintain. Real freedom gives you energy back. You stop begging for peace when you realize you can build it. Not by keeping things calm on the surface, but by creating alignment underneath. When what you feel matches what you say. When what you believe matches how you live. That's when the noise fades. Not because you silenced it, but because you rose above it. You're not here to be easy. You're here to be real, to speak, to move, to exist without fear of disturbing the room. Because real peace, it doesn't ask you to disappear. It demands that you fully show up. When you stop betraying yourself for fake harmony, you start building a life that feels like home. You stop tiptoeing around truth. You stop dimming your light just so others don't feel uncomfortable. And suddenly, your world gets quieter. Not because there's less noise, but because your soul is no longer screaming to be heard. You feel grounded, clear, centered, not perfect, not always calm, but real. And in that realness, you find the kind of peace you don't have to perform to keep. You no longer need things around you to be calm, for you to feel at peace. Because now, your peace isn't conditional. It's not built on silence. It's built on truth. You've stopped being afraid of conflict because you've learned that real conflict is better than fake connection. You've stopped pretending just to keep the room comfortable because you finally made yourself a priority. This is what freedom feels like. Not loud, not dramatic, just honest. No more shrinking. No more nodding when you mean no. No more peace at the price of your soul. You don't just speak your truth now, you live it. You walk into rooms without shrinking. You say what you mean without flinching. You stand your ground, not to fight, but to exist fully. This isn't rebellion. It's alignment. It's what happens when your inner world finally matches your outer one. And people might not like it. They might call you difficult, too much, too direct. But what they're really saying is, you're no longer easy to control. And that's peace. That's freedom. That's power. This is what real freedom feels like. Not ease, not comfort, but clarity. You're not walking on eggshells anymore. You're walking in truth. You're not performing peace. You are peace. Because it's coming from within, not approval, not fear, not silence. Now you speak even when your voice shakes. You stay even when it's uncomfortable. You walk away when your soul says, enough. You no longer trade your truth for temporary calm. Because now you know fake peace was killing you. But real freedom, it's saving you. One honest moment at a time.